Hello and welcome to my channel. I am Magda. For those who don't know me, I've been in the employment industry for quite some time now. I am also the founder of Hygienics consulting staffing firm. Today, I'll be sharing some information that you need to know before you sit for a virtual interview. Virtual interviews have become increasingly popular during this pandemic we're all in. As the pandemic continues, it's only a matter of time before you get asked to attend one yourself. Also, as with any type of job interview, virtual interview could be nerve-wracking. For today, I'll be sharing 10 do's and don'ts in virtual interview, which I believe it will help you to impress hiring managers so you can land the job of your dreams. I will start with the do's. Number one do research the company. As with any type of interview, you must do your homework before the big day. Avoid scrolling through Google during the actual call and do your research beforehand. Enough information about the company can be found in their website, About Us link, and you must understand what the company does, how long it has been in the business, what type of technology they use. For example, are they in management? Are they in security? You have to get the details. Are they federal or public sector? You have to understand everything. You have to read up also the position and all the details. What type of certifications are they looking for? What type of requirements do they have? Break down the job description, and this will help you a lot. And beyond that, you can also research about the interviewers. Their information can also be found in LinkedIn. Number two do, find an ideal location. Since you can't be interviewed at an office setting anymore, an ideal location is at a desk in your home. But if you can't take the interview at your place, it could be for so many reasons. It could be because you have kids, family, and you could be living in a small shared space where it does not allow you to have a quiet environment. Or it could be any other reason. When this happens, my first suggestion is that way beforehand, ask a family member or a friend if they can allow you to take the interview at their place. If none of that is available for you, I have to say you have no option but to create an appropriate environment that reflects professionalism to the best of your ability. For example, if you have a child, you can ask one of your family members or a friend to hold the child for you just for that time or that hour. Next is you must set up your webcam in a tidy area where there is sufficient lighting. Your background should be clear. There shouldn't be any posters or any type of distraction because you want the interviewers to focus only on you and what you have to say, not things in the background that could be very distractive. Number three, do check your internet connection. The last thing you want before a virtual interview is to have no internet. If you don't have strong Wi-Fi at home, make sure to do the interview elsewhere. It could be quite hotel lounge, or you can also think into maybe reserving a private room. Believe me, if this is a job you've been wanting and you finally got to the final step, which is the virtual interview, it's all worth giving it your all. What if you happen to run into unexpected internet issues at the moment of the interview? You have internet, but now that it's lagging. My first advice is to be honest with the interview panel and let them know that this has never happened and you would like to try maybe your hotspot. If they agree, do that quickly at the spot. If there is no success with that, make sure to let the interviewers know that you would like to reschedule the interview as you value their time. And by doing this, you're saving yourself the panic and you are also avoiding miscommunication and frustration. Number four, do test your tools. It could be a lagging laptop, a faulty webcam, or a dysfunctional microphone. This could also result in an interview completely going wrong. To prevent this from happening, make sure the video platform you're using, it could be Skype or Zoom, is working correctly. You can do this by testing it beforehand. You can do a quick test call with a friend. You should also check your audio and microphone and do a test run with a webcam. Getting a mic is a good idea. You can find inexpensive microphones online. It would be better to invest in these tools because the virtual interview should be as good as meeting the person in person. Number 5, do rehearse the interview. If you've never done digital interview before, it would be wise to practice ahead of time. You can rehearse the interview using several techniques. Number one, prepare for the interview by either doing a trial call with a friend who can give you a feedback, or by recording a practice interview that you can watch later. By doing this kind of preparation, you are allowing to review how you're conducting yourself, and this will help you work on certain techniques that you need to improve. Also, go over some common interview questions, which you can find online. I will also be sharing this in my future videos, common interview questions, as they come very handy. The other thing you can practice is looking directly at the webcam instead of yourself. It's easy to get distracted, and you would want to look at your image on the screen, but what you should not forget is that when you do that, your eyes are wandering around and you're not connecting with the interviewers. Be comfortable in front of the camera. You can do this by trying out different postures, tones of voice, and by doing all this rehearsal ahead of the big day, it will boost your self-confidence and prepare you for the real thing. Number 6, dress appropriately. Just because it is a virtual interview, it does not mean you should not dress the part. You must still wear a professional outfit. The thing is that since the camera would only show our upper body, it doesn't mean you shouldn't dress up the waist down as well. This has happened actually where a potential candidate has to get up in the middle of the interview to take care of his child who came into the room, and we all noticed that when he stood up, he was actually fully suited, which was cool to notice. I highly recommend you dress up head to toe appropriately, as you never know, anything could happen. Number 7, do continue to stay professional. It's easy to get comfortable and a little too casual while interviewing from the comfort of our homes. However, you must treat the interview like you are in a physical workplace. You can do this by maintaining a professional tone at all times. I highly recommend, no matter how much the interviewer makes you feel comfortable, never use a slang, and don't let your good posture go out of focus and get distracted. Number 8, do show your personality. This is a big one. While it's crucial to stay professional, it's important to let your personality shine through during the interview as well. We all know it could be very difficult to communicate your charisma through the screen, but the least you can do is to keep in mind you can smile, you can keep an eye contact, you can also, if something funny is discussed, you should not be shy to express your humor, while staying professional, of course. I mean, we all know employers are looking to hire who are skilled, experienced, but also someone that's pleasant to be around, relatable, friendly, and easygoing person as well. Number 9, be confident. For many of us, being in front of a camera is not easy. Unfortunately, now we are in a time when there is a global pandemic, and virtual meeting is the only way we can handle business. And it's crucial that you discuss your skills, your experience with clarity, and also showing confidence. Because during these calls, it's normal to be apprehensive, nervous in any type of interview. But camera-shy people, virtual calls can even be more stressful. My advice is that you try to remain calm, confident, and proactive throughout the interview. Another way you can show confidence is by asking good, relevant, and engaging questions. I'll make another video about this topic as well, as I have excellent pointers I would like to share with you all. The other way you can show confidence is that if you can't hear the interviewers due to technical difficulty, don't be shy to pause and ask them to repeat themselves. The interviewers will respect you for your self-assurance, poise, instead of just only agreeing with whatever they're saying, or maybe you are giving unrelated answer to a question they asked it because you didn't hear them properly. So asking them to repeat the question is always a good idea. So don't be scared to do that. Then number 10, do follow up. How important do you think it is to follow up after an interview? It is very important. This is actually a chance for you to show that other than giving a good impression on camera, you are also showing that off camera as well. Do this by following up after the interview with a thank you note. You can either mail the note or send an email. You have to do this right after you complete the interview because it's easy to forget or postpone from doing it. By sending a thank you note, you're showing that you are determined but also respectful. It will also help. The first and foremost don't be late. This is another thing we all may not think can happen. Because when we think of virtual interview, we are thinking we are at home and there's no traffic to worry about, but it could still be late for your virtual interview due to several reasons that could happen last minute. Number one is technical crashes. It could be a broken webcam, or your PC does decide to restart, or your keyboard, something goes wrong right before the interview. Another last minute issue could be a crying child or last minute urgent situation, and all this could keep you from being punctual. To avoid all this, do your best to prepare yourself minutes or even hours beforehand. I would say 15 to 30 minutes ahead. Have your PC on, run the test, sit in front of the camera, and wait for the impending call. Do not postpone anything to the last minute. Anything could go wrong and you need some time to work on that, so be on time. Number two, do not sit in a noisy, distractive background. If you truly want to convey professionalism, loud, distractive background noises is a no-go. Finding the perfect setting for your interview must be a struggle, because nowadays we are all at home and finding that quiet space might be difficult. I highly suggest you do your best to eliminate any type of noise that could happen at the time of the interview, because there is no use taking an interview if your answers can't be heard, and it would be downright embarrassing if you keep to have to shout over a noisy, busy background. So I highly recommend any noise has to be eliminated. Number three, do not use a silly username. This has been one of the ongoing issues we continue to see with many candidates. Interesting enough, you will be surprised to see these silly usernames being used by candidates that are actually highly talented, and some senior candidates as well. I've seen some usernames which are like Cute 2020, Action Man. I mean, some also have used some movie character names, which sometimes it could be funny, but not when you have to speak with someone that's looking to hire you. So I recommend you make sure you have, or you set a username and email address that sound and look professional. Number four, do not fiddle with the camera. Virtual interviews can be messy, especially when there is a shaky video screen. Also, when you are really nervous and you're not comfortable to see yourself in the screen, you may start to touch the camera. But don't mess around with the webcam too much, as it will leave you and the interviewers dizzy and distracted. Also, the other thing to remember is that, for example, if you're using a mobile phone for the video call, make sure to prop it up somewhere where it can't rock or fall. Or if you are using a laptop, make sure it's not sitting on your lap or shaky surface. You have to put it on a steady surface. This will save you from a lot of awkward movements during the call. Do not get distracted. During video calls, it's easy to get distracted because obviously you're looking at a screen, talking to people you never met before, so your nerves will start to kick in and your mind will start to play you where you can lose focus. A safe plan would be to switch off your mobile phone so no call will come in during the interview, or even notifications can be distracting. I mean, I can mention some Viber notification, WhatsApp, or even Facebook notifications. So do yourself a favor, close any other computer programs as well. It's also vital that you don't stare at your own reflection during the call. Only pay attention to the interviewer. A great technique to show professionalism and confidence during the interviews, keeping eye contact with the hiring panel. Otherwise, it's easy to get distracted by other things. Number 6, do not turn off the camera. As I mentioned earlier, video interviews can be terrifying, especially when you are camera shy, and also it's tempting. You just want to shut it off. Don't turn off your camera. Both you and the hiring panel should be visible during the virtual call, so keep the camera on throughout. It will be awkward for your potential employer to be speaking to a blank screen. Plus, it demonstrates a lack of ability to handle video calls in a real work setting. Number 7, do not use the computer for reference. During interviews, you may want to refer to something that's included in your resume, However, it's important to avoid clicking through your computer, searching through files while you are sitting in front of the video call. When you start doing that, obviously it will be difficult for you to pay attention to what's being discussed. Also, when you do that, your eye contact will be lost and the interviewers could easily see that. It will create unnecessary disconnect from the get-go. Instead, I recommend that you print your resume or any other cheat sheet that you have for reference because it will be easily accessible. The other point I like to mention is also if you need to take notes, I would say write them down by hand instead of typing them up, because when you start typing, you will start to create that disconnect with the eye contact and the interviewer might stop from continuing or wait until you finish typing. And when that happens, it usually becomes frustrating to managers and it may also come across less professional. Number 8, do not recite your interview answers. Another major mistake is reading out your interview answers from a screen or paper. Do not underestimate your interviewers. They will definitely know. While you should prepare some answers for the most challenging interview questions, but you should not read them off a script. Just like you would not do this if the interview was happening in person, so there's no need for you to do this online. Instead, I recommend you practice your answers in advance and try to memorize your best response so you can use them on the spot. Number 9, do not interrupt the interviewer. This is huge. Virtual interviews can be frustrating, especially when there is more than one interviewer. Interviewers tend to interrupt and talk over each other just because at times one might think the other one's done and the other one thinks he can jump in, or it could be connection delays, which could result actually in overlapping communication. If this happens to you, I recommend that you stay silent and wait for the chatter to end before giving your answers. By doing this, you are allowing enough time to pass until everyone's done and the next word that comes out of you is ready to be heard. And the second point I would like to make, if you disagree with something while you're being interviewed, it's vital to avoid cutting off the interviewers mid-sentences or talking over them. You can always allow them to finish and explain your case when everyone's ready to listen. By doing this, you will strike yourself as a professional. Number 10, do not forget body language. Just as you would in any physical interview, be mindful of your body language because it's very easy to forget to keep your body language throughout the interview because number 1, you are at the comfort of your home. Also, being in a screen itself creates some type of distance which could make you forget how you are pausing, and I can recommend that you continue to remind yourself of your posture, your tone, and all that. Remember to not slouch. It's easy just to become comfortable in the middle of the interview and we start slouching. But in order to help you not to do that, maybe sit in a chair that's not too comfortable or have a seat that has good back support. Sometimes you can put a pillow, which would help you sit straight up. And the other thing is also when we get nervous or when we try to impress, we tend to smile excessively. But during the call, we should avoid excessive smiling. Just keep natural smile with moderate, natural body language and expressions. You can also use your hands to express yourself. Of course, do this again moderately and not in an animated or forced manner. My final point is don't stare at the screen. It's easy to stare at a screen because maybe we are trying hard to focus or stay engaged, but as you would not stare someone when they're sitting across you in a table, you should also remember not to stare at the interviewer. Don't forget to blink and just be yourself. Well, thank you for staying with me. There are many techniques you can use in order to master virtual interviews. As long as you are prepared and you stay professional, you're bound to make an excellent impression to the hiring managers. And hopefully, you will be able to stand out among other candidates and secure the job of your dream. In the next video, I'll continue to share more beneficial tips for you to be successful in the search of your new job. Don't forget to comment in the comment section below and don't forget to share and subscribe. Thank you again and stay safe.